Chair now recognizes Representative Huizenga.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Secretary Rubio. Good to see you again. I'm going to try to quickly move through a couple of issues. My district consists of Southwest Michigan, including Battle Creek, where we have a large Burmese diaspora, and they have a lot of friends and family who are still back in Burma, Myanmar, that are dealing with the brutal military junta. And they are literally waging a war of terror and genocide on those folks. I have introduced a bipartisan bill, H.R. 3190, the Brave Burma Act, to target the military junta's revenues, specifically implementing full blocking sanctions on Myanmar oil and gas enterprises, Myanmar Economic Bank, the MEB, and entities operating.
What's up, freedom fighters? Welcome back to the channel, where we cut through the noise, expose the nonsense, and fight for God, country, and the Constitution. If you're tired of globalist elites, big tech censorship, and weak foreign policy, you're in the right place. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's jump into this absolute bombshell of a hearing from Capitol Hill. Today, we're diving into a recent clip from featuring Representative Bill Huizenga pressing Secretary Rubio on two absolutely critical issues. Communist China's global propaganda war, the U.S. taxpayers' money potentially flowing into the hands of the Taliban. Now listen, if you're not paying attention to these issues, wake up. We're not just in a culture war here at home, we're in a geopolitical war for the soul of the free world. First off, massive respect to Representative Huizenga for introducing the Brave Burma Act H.R. 3190. This isn't just about foreign policy. It's about doing the right thing. The military junta in Myanmar is waging literal genocide, terrorizing innocent people. It's being funded by gas, oil, and jet fuel revenues.
Operating within the jet fuel sector, which is where they get most of their revenue. And this is the same question I asked Secretary Bessent. Are you willing to work with us in my office to implement this particular?
Well, absolutely. I mean, if you pass legislation, it's our job to implement it.
Right. I appreciate that. I want to move on. I had in my subcommittee, I'm the South Central Asia subcommittee, but I'm also dealing with the R family of State Department as we're doing this reauthorization. And a couple of weeks ago, we had a hearing where we had the Truth Czarina, Ms. Jankowicz, participated in. And we know that the CCP has been pouring billions of dollars into propaganda and censorship around the world, and I'm actually introducing a bill, Restoring American Freedom Act, that would codify the Trump EO on censorship. But I want to know, what is your strategy to push back on China, defend literally speech and the truth?
Well, I think the first thing is that we need to be strong defenders of free speech everywhere in the world, and anywhere in the world where it's being threatened, including, sadly, parts of Europe, where we're seeing truth and we're seeing free speech now being endangered. The second point I would make about it is, and we've done this in our own department, you know, we had an entity in our own department, the Global Engagement Center, yes, that was involved, frankly, in identifying Americans. Then they would pass this information on to these NGOs that were not part of government, and they would use them to then target Americans to try to silence them or brand them or harass them. The State Department should not be engaged in that, and we closed that center.
That was going to be my follow-up. You're going to make sure that that's not happening. That's the idea of codifying the Trump EO, which is why I'm moving forward on that. Real quickly, Mr. Burchett, back over here, was talking about Afghanistan, and his bill, which is a report bill, I think goes hand in glove with a bill that I've introduced, which would require a restriction of all U.S. tax dollars that are being paid in Afghanistan for things such as fees and fines and taxes. I mean, U.S. taxpayers paying taxes to the Taliban in Afghanistan. And so I'd love to, if you want to make a quick comment on that, about a necessity to end that. I think this is something that we need.
Well,
we
have, at the President's direction, we've ended virtually, if not all, of the aid programs that would fall in the hands or benefit the Taliban. Beyond that, there may be some other ways in which they're collecting funds that may require statutory authority to do, and so we would welcome that.
Great. And we'll follow up with your team on specifically that piece of legislation.
You know what? Good on Huizenga for targeting those revenue streams with sanctions. That's how you actually hit these tyrants where it hurts. But let's be honest, how often have we seen D.C. talk tough, but do nothing? Thankfully, Rubio stepped up and said, if you pass it, we'll implement it. That's the attitude we need. Because guess what? America should never tolerate regimes that butcher their own people. Now, let's talk about the real beast in the room, the Chinese Communist Party. Huizenga brought the receipts. China is dumping billions into propaganda, censorship, disinformation all over the world. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is real. They are buying influence on university campuses, in Hollywood, in the media, and even inside American tech companies. Let me ask you how many of our kids are growing up praising socialism and apologizing for America? That's not a coincidence. That's indoctrination, and the CCP loves every second of it. That's why Huizenga is restoring American Freedom Act, which would codify President Trump's executive order on censorship, is critical. Say what you want about Trump, but he understood the First Amendment like no other modern president. Free speech isn't just under attack in China, it's under attack here at home. Rubio confirmed they shut down the so-called Global Engagement Center. You know what that place was doing? Targeting Americans, labeling and silencing people for their opinions by handing off info to non-governmental actors to do their dirty work. Sound familiar? That's the same playbook Big Tech used to ban conservatives during the 2020 election. This is dangerous stuff. Folks, if our own government is colluding to silence us under the guise of misinformation, we're halfway down the road to tyranny. I'll say this, every agency that had anything to do with suppressing free speech must be audited, defunded, and dismantled. Period. Now, for the part that made my blood boil, Huizenga brought up that U.S. taxpayer dollars may be going to Taliban as taxes, fines, and fees. Let me get this straight. After we abandoned Afghanistan, after we armed the Taliban with billions in U.S. military gear, we're now paying them taxes? The same Taliban that harbored al-Qaeda? The same group that murders women for not wearing a burqa? Are you kidding me? Rubio said aid programs that could benefit the Taliban have been stopped, but admitted there may be other ways money is flowing and welcomed legislation to plug the holes. Well, let me be clear, not one red cent should go to the Taliban. I don't care if it's in the form of taxes, aid, or humanitarian loopholes. They're a terrorist regime, and we don't fund terrorists. Here's the real takeaway. We need bold leadership, not bureaucratic appeasement. Huizenga is fighting the good fight. Rubio, credit where it's due, seems to be stepping up too. But the rest of the D.C. swamp, they better catch up. Because America's enemies are advancing fast, whether it's the CCP's censorship, Myanmar's genocide, or the Taliban stealing your tax dollars. This isn't just about foreign policy. This is about America first, about protecting our values, our people, our freedom. Folks, if you value truth, freedom, and accountability, do your part. Share this video. Call your reps. And remember, we are the firewall between liberty and tyranny. God bless you. God bless the Constitution. And God bless the United States of America. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a dose of freedom. Stay vigilant. Stay loud. Stay free.